Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another exciting new episode of Cyberside Chats, the first one of hopefully many in the new year. Um, I'm very happy that I actually started in English and not in Dutch because the person who is sitting next to me, sorry, on the other side is Pieter, who is also from the Netherlands. Good morning, Pieter. Good afternoon, Pieter. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Tjitske. Thank you for having me. Uh, and yes, it is late afternoon, so
We
let's get
are,
it on
Peter and I
work.
have been working for, well, first of all, Peter has been working for Malwarebytes for about 16 years right now, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
about 16 years right now. So welcome, Peter. Welcome, everyone else. Thank you for joining or watching this later. This is the first one of the new year. I'm very excited. We have a lot of great guests lined up, and Peter will be the first one. Peter is our malware intelligence researcher. And one of the reasons that I really wanted to have Peter on the show is because I'm just going to call it a show, is because, yeah, Peter also has had a very interesting life before Malwarebytes and in Malwarebytes in cybersecurity and outside of cybersecurity. So, Peter, um, tell us all about yourself. How were you always interested in cybersecurity, or did you just roll into it like a lot of us did? And did you study it? And tell us your lifestyle story and start at the very beginning.
Well, I'll start with the part where cybersecurity comes into play, which was when I studied at the university in Delft. I studied geodesy, which is the science that tries to describe the shape and the size of the Earth. Of the outside of the Earth, when you go below that, it's geology. That's something completely different.
Mm.
But when I studied geodesy, we had a lot of computing to do. So we
Mm.
also got courses in computer sciences. And one of the professors that taught at that faculty was, well, in the Netherlands, rather famous ethical hacker,
Mm.
and I always followed his courses. So that's how I was first introduced to cybersecurity. And I don't think there was any cybersecurity before that time, because this is shortly after the dinosaurs went extinct. Um, so I learned programming in very ancient languages like COBOL, Fortran, and BASIC.
Mhm.
But um, well, if you know a few computer languages, then you can read most of them. I'm
Mhm.
no good at programming. Well, not very good at programming myself, but I can read code, so that helps when you're analyzing malware.
Mhm.
So yeah, when I just didn't finish my study because I got drafted for military service, which I spent in Germany because that paid better, and people that worked in the German uh, military could buy tax-free goods. So that was
Oh.
a pretty good deal. And yeah, and then when I got out of the military, I had no diplomas, no house, no
Mhm.
money, and a giant student loan debt. So I got the first job that I could get, which was something I did when I was a student when I needed money, and there was as a courier.
Mhm.
And that's how I started a career in logistics. And at some point, I was working for a trucking company in the Netherlands, and they wanted a system to track their trucks where they were in
Mhm.
Europe. And that is good. Nowadays, they're all programmed and that send the data from every truck. But at that point, I had to program it in JavaScript and
Mhm.
use the Google Maps API to look where all the trucks were. But as I said, I'm not a very good programmer, so I regularly needed help. And I went to some forums if I needed help or got
Mhm.
stuck, and I asked for help. And to pay forward, I used my knowledge in
Mhm.
cybersecurity to pay forward. So I helped other people removing spyware, adware, and because at the time you had antivirus, anti-Trojan,
Hmm.
and everything else was your own problem.
Yeah.
So if you had adware or whatever on
Hmm.
your computer, spyware, nobody would detect or remove it.
Hmm.
So yeah, and when I got stuck in with helping people with that, I followed another Dutchie uh, to an American forum called Spyware Info, and I found that the developer of the program that we use to analyze computers, hijack this,
Hmm.
was also Dutch. And he
Wow.
also worked for Malwarebytes a short
Hmm.
while, but that's a different story. And yeah, well, so we were like, if we found new things that hijack this didn't detect, so we talked about it, how can we add this? And so the tool was always adapted to what the help was needed, which
Hmm.
was great. But at some point on that forum, Spyware Info, along comes a young kid who has infected his parents' computer with adware, and he was helped by a lady from Belgium. And it took about 30 pages of instructions and following
Wow.
those instructions and questions and answers and to get that computer back in working order.
Hmm.
And as we later turned out, that young chap was Marcin Tjitske, who founded Malwarebytes. And that Belgian lady was Mieke Verburg, who is now head of the research department at Malwarebytes. Yeah, so that's looking back already a bit, but um, at some point, Malwarebytes needed more people,
Hmm.
uh, and they looked for those people where they could find people that were motivated, they knew, they could trust, and they looked at the forums, and they found
Yeah,
me.
brilliant. And that's where Peter was. And I love
Yeah,
that. And like we talk about Marcin's story a lot in Malwarebytes because, the power of community and the power of like helping each other out. If I don't know something myself, like, and nowadays, yeah, like I sound very old as well. Nowadays, you have your chat GPTs and everything, but you still have the forums and you still have the communities. But back then, because there were not a lot of tools, you had each other, and I think that's the power of our origin story of Marcin's origin story as well, right? So
yeah.
I'm very happy that you were one of the first ones to be involved in this, yeah, kind of like where we are right now, and that you're still here. So when you went to a Malwarebytes, like what was the first thing that you did? What was your job in Malwarebytes at the very young, very young Malwarebytes? What did you do? What did you do
Um,
over there?
Back then, our focus was on fake AVAs and system optimizers.
Hmm.
You know, the kind that you get a free scan and they find 1,000 things on your computer. Every cookie is a nightmare, and every orphaned registry key is Mount Doom on your horizon. And then they find thousands of things, and they fix only five unless you pay
Hmm.
for it.
Yeah.
And there was a new one every day.
Yeah.
That somebody was cranking those out in some factory that just got a new name and it's slightly different program, and
Hmm.
off you were for the next one. So I wrote removal guides. I added them to the detections.
Hmm.
Looked if there was anything else needed to remove them, that sort of thing. And then later on, we had a wave of adware browser extensions.
Hmm.
MindSpark was a very well-known one that they also cranked out a lot of extensions. You couldn't think of a subject or they had one. They had
Hmm.
browser extensions for Bible studies, gardening, any subject you
Wow.
could think of, they had one. So we went through that cycle, and yeah, at some point they started a blog,
Hmm.
and the person that was writing by himself for that blog was our head of threat intel, Adam Kujawa. And he said, "You're a good writer. Can you help me write some blogs so that we have some more content? Yeah, yeah, I could do that. So that's how I got on the path of the blog and how I got introduced to the threat intel team,
Hmm.
where I learned a lot because we had some
Yeah.
great people in there.
How many blogs do you think you've written over the years, Peter?
Oh my God. I hundreds, many
Yeah.
hundreds.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
At
see
some
we
point,
see
I
your blogs like two, three times a day, and they're always super well written. So I think it's, I mean, you must have done hundreds. And like you said, you went from kind of writing the blog, you got introduced to threat intel, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about that because threat intelligence, malware research, like we had Jerome on, I think last year or 2 years ago, and he was going a little bit through what that means and what you do. But I think it's still kind of like a magical thing for like even us. Um, so does your family know what you do? Does your family know exactly what you do, or is it very difficult to difficult to tell them what you do?
they, I don't think they know that I'm a threat intelligence researcher or what that means. No, I don't think so.
I just
But
work in
yeah,
computers.
yeah, my wife does, and everyone else knows that I work for an American software company, and
Mm.
that's about it. Because
And
yeah, it's complicated. Even if I think, what do I do on a day? Like you said, I write one, two, sometimes
mhm,
three blogs a day. And I have to keep up with the latest
mhm,
because if a new threat is found, I want to know about it. So that
mhm.
requires a lot of reading and researching. And I really enjoy following up on scams,
Yeah,
which is, yeah, a lot of people find that fun, but it's kind of an art to do it safely.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Because if someone sends a person a link and they forward you that email, and you follow the link as it is in the email,
Hmm.
you may give away that that person opened the email and they will get more.
Yeah.
So you
That.
have to alter the link so that it doesn't tell the scammer who opened the mail
Hmm.
or which receiver's mail was opened. And I've I've been threatened with lawyers by scammers who were, I think they
Oh,
were they were
really?
convinced themselves that they were, there was a task job scammer. Maybe you read the blog post uh, where you have to do some tedious task 100 times,
Oh, yeah.
and when you're at 99, you hit the so-called jackpot, and but you have to invest another $400 before you
Hmm.
can proceed. So yeah. At the end, I said I was, "Hey, yeah, it was nice talking to you, but I asked you a trick question and you gave me the wrong answer. So I know that you're a scammer, and I will be posting a blog about this." And she wrote to me, "You will hear from our lawyer." Yeah, I'm still waiting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow, that they actually do think that they are doing something right or something is very interesting. You were saying like you get the threats, you this kind of stuff. Where do you get your threat? Where do you get your threats, Peter? Which help do you get your threat? Like, do you get them from our team? Do you get them from people outside of Malwarebytes? Like, how does this work? Do you have some sort of program yourself that you're using that you find it? Because even for me, I work on Malwarebytes. I sometimes see like scams, etc., coming through, but I don't really exactly always know how you get your threat intelligence and how you go from there.
Yeah, all of the above, from people inside the company, from people outside of the
Yeah.
company. I do have some friends that work in email security,
Hmm.
and if they have something interesting, they forward it to me.
Hmm.
I can look things up at VirusTotal to see
Yeah.
what came in, what was submitted the
Hmm.
last few days, so things like that. And I talk to other researchers online, and we keep each other in the loop, sort
Yeah.
of.
So there's like a community of kind of threat intelligence researchers, and you talk to each other a
Yeah,
lot, I guess.
yeah,
And
yeah. Have you seen this? Is this something
hmm
that might interest you? Because we not every security company is the same. We all work in
hmm
different fields. And if I find something that's not of interest to us, then I can give it to someone else and I'll get something else back later that's more interesting to us. So that's a bit how it works.
and one of the things that we were talking, like, I think we talk about this every single time we are on a live. We just had our three-part series about AI with Vladimir, so we know a little bit more about we all know a little bit more about AI, or do we? Um, we were talking in previously about first of all, like how AI kind of has changed the threat landscape, and how scammers have more tools to create like really sophisticated scams. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game anyway, with like scammers and hackers and cyber criminals and companies and people like us, trying to keep ahead of them so we know what's coming. But there's also good things about AI, which means, like we were talking beforehand about, like how you went from, well, by using AI, you went from like taking days and days sometimes to investigate a certain scam or a certain threat, by reducing that to, maybe even a day. Like, how do you work with AI, and like, how does it work in your favor? And how do you think, it can't do everything? Was there anything in there that you thought, would help you with your daily life and it didn't, for instance?
Yeah, well, it would be nice if you can feed the AI some malicious file
Hmm
and it tells you all the things that it does and when it does it and how it does it. But that's not how it works. If you're analyzing code, you have to tell the AI, I think this is obfuscated in this way. Can
hmm
you write me a script to deobfuscate it?
hmm
That's what they're very good at, writing short programs that you can use to help you in your analysis. But it doesn't do the analysis itself.
No.
It's like AI is based on what humans know, and it can predict
hmm
little steps. I mean, if an AI would be to invent something, then it would be trivial. It would be
Yeah.
it would beat humans to the point where it gets uh, invented, but it didn't. It would have happened anyway. People would have
hmm
invented it themselves. AI is, yeah, it learns from us and it predicts what we would do next, and it does that faster than we can ourselves. But it does not do anything really new at this point.
hmm
I mean, it can design and test 100 different compositions of crystals and chemicals
hmm
and but much faster than we could. But it can't think of something entirely new all by itself.
Yeah.
So when I'm analyzing code, I just tell it, I think it was obfuscated in this and this way.
hmm
Can you write me a script to undo that? And then I get to the next layer and I think, oh God, another obfuscation layer, because the the cyber criminals do exactly the same.
Yeah.
Add another layer.
It's like an onion. It's like the
Yeah,
cyber onion. Like there's a
yeah.
layer upon layer upon layer.
I'm Petrushka doll, I called it once. Yeah. So every time, oh God, there's another doll in here.
How do you know you're at the end? How do you know you're at the end?
When I
It
when
might
I
be a
can
very
read
stupid
it,
question, but
when I can read it, then I'm at the end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I see like this gets posted to that Telegram channel.
Well,
For example, if you look at a phishing site, when I can see, oh, this goes to a Telegram bot and it's that and that channel, then I'm at the end. Then I'm, well, along the way, I found usually different things that it does. So I look at which, I know at which parts of the code to look where the interesting things are. the things that you need for attribution and that sort of thing.
And like how, of course, it really depends per threat. Like how long would you normally, before the use of AI, how long would it normally take you for like a complicated threat to go through all these steps, to go through all these layers? And how does that compare to how you're doing it right now? How long would it take these days for that same complicated threat?
Well, with the time I have available on a daily basis, a few hours, it would take me weeks before I used AI, and I can do
Yeah.
now do that in an afternoon.
Wow.
It's
That's
just, it, the fact alone that the script that it gives you
hmm
works the first time, and as long as it's simple scripts, you don't have to debug them or anything. It just
yeah.
works, and you're one step further along. It's just up to you
hmm
to find what that next step is going to be. Because when there is so many layers, you can't skip one layer. You
No.
have to do every one of them.
Wow. That's amazing. I love getting a little bit of an insight on how this type of research works. And like even now, like there's so many other layers to the work that you're doing. Just to get back to the whole layer, what you're saying, what you're telling. But I love it that we have a little bit of more of an insight of what you do. And like, would this be something that you would also still do in kind of like your free time? Or is there something completely different? How do you relax? Is that by unboxing another weird threat, or like what is it that makes Peter go, okay, after a day of research and writing blogs, what do you do to completely unwind?
Well, to prevent me from doing something that requires me sitting down even more, I like to go on hikes and find bird watching is one thing I do. I
Lovely.
love doing, and that my wife loves that too. So that's something we really enjoy doing together.
That's amazing.
Well, I do make programs and databases.
Hmm.
Also, my wife is a flamingo aficionado. She makes a lot of pictures of flamingos, and there's a colony that spends the winter in the Netherlands. And they are mostly ringed because they breed in Germany. And so I made a database with all the rings when they were born, where they were all sighted, and
Cool.
so we can use that database to find out, hey, maybe that's his parents, or
Oh,
you
I
know,
love that. That is
that sort of thing.
brilliant.
But that requires even more programming. But it goes faster with AI. So
Hmm. Here we go. Um, I kind of want to end with what we always end with is like, for us, a lot of us are like either the IT or cybersecurity support person of our family. We help our parents, we help our friends. What would be like your number one tip to stay safe online?
think before you act.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And if you're not sure, ask someone you trust.
Hmm.
Because when you tell that scam story to somebody, your brother or your
Hmm.
child or your grandpa, whoever it is that you trust, when you tell them what the story is,
Hmm.
you can hear yourself say something like, this is too good to be true. This is a scam. This can't be right. The the Dutch police, not even the Dutch police does not ask you for credit cards.
No. Even the Dutch police doesn't.
Even the Dutch police doesn't do that.
I think that's a very good advice because one of the things that we see a lot, especially with scams, is the sense of urgency, right?
Yeah,
They come up,
that's
there's
a very good
something,
reason.
and so yes, stop and think and ask. We see that a lot with like romance scams as well. Sometimes you're so far into a romance scam that even acknowledging the fact that you may have been wrong and that you may have been scammed is a very difficult realization. Um, So I think if you have indeed an inkling of like there's something wrong with this, even though I'm madly in love with this person or this idea, talk to somebody about it. And like if you don't want to talk to somebody that you know, we're always here as well. You can just write into us. There's no judgment. There's no, but in most likely, 99% of the cases, we've seen it all before and we can help out with advice on how to get out of this and not to, and to share the knowledge, right? Because again, just to go back to where we were, community, like strength is in community. We might not always know, have all the knowledge and the power ourselves, but if we have a community of people and we all have a little bit of knowledge and conscience, I always like to compare it with ants and shared conscience. I know it's mad, but I think we can keep each other safe and, get a bit of awareness of what's going on in the world. And with awareness comes safety. And I think I love ending on that note on the power of community because that's exactly what we started with, Peter. We started with the
Yes.
power of community and we're going to finish on the power of community. And with that said, if you have a question about what we just talked about malware research, or anything else about scams, about layers, about matrushkas, or about flamingos, because as we know, we have a little bit of a bird expert here as well. Drop them into the comments. We'll come back to that either on a next live or we'll answer you in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in about 2 weeks. We'll be finally talking to David about stalkerware and how to protect yourself and what to do if you suspect stalkerware on your devices. Anyway, thank you so much, Peter, for coming. I was going to say, but we're both
It
in
was
our
a
own
pleasure.
in our own. And we'll see each other soon. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and have a great day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.